Hello and welcome to Social 5 University. My name's Kate Drake and I'll be your host today. We're going to be talking about engaging with your audience on social media. And this is a topic I really love talking about because I feel like businesses miss a lot of opportunities this way. And it's really an area where just a little bit of effort will really make some amazing relationship building and can really pay off some dividends for your business. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Feel free to ask any questions as we go along. You can do that on your dashboard there, and I'll try and answer them as we go. Thanks so much. All right, here we go. So today we're going to be talking about audience engagement, as we mentioned. Kind of a quick overview. What we're going to start off with a case study of what not to do on social media when you get comments and things like that from your audience. This is one of the it's kind of a favorite of mine because it's one of the most epic meltdowns in social media history, and so we get to talk about that a little bit. And, kind of a sad case study of what you shouldn't do on social media. Next, we're going to talk in depth about how to handle complaints on social media. This is often an area where people take to social media because, they feel like they're not being heard in your store, or, they don't know how else to get in touch with you or whatever. And so complaints are a big issue on social media, but they're also a really great opportunity. We're going to talk a little bit about how to handle positive comments that come through on social media. We often focus a lot on the complaints and the negative comments, but the positive comments are just as important. And we're going to talk about just a couple of quick, simple ways to invite a little more engagement on your page. Nothing huge, but just some easy, simple things that you can do for free. And we've got a question here. Is there a way to print these slides for taking notes? Unfortunately, I don't have a way to share the presentation with you that way, but it will be available again for our on our web page, on our blog. So you can watch it again later if you'd like, but we don't have a way to share those slides, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so let's move on here. We're going to start talking about this cautionary tale. Now, this is a little company called Amy's Baking Company. It's a little bistro in Scottsdale, Arizona. And it was really struggling to connect with its customers and had a bunch of problems. And so the owners, Amy and Sammy, who are pictured here, they signed up to appear on the TV show Kitchen Nightmares, where this, I don't know if any of you have seen it, but it's where this chef comes in and he totally, tries to help make over the restaurant and help it so it's not struggling. The trouble was it led to a lot of publicity for the restaurant, but not in a good way. The show revealed some major issues in the way Amy and Sammy were running their business. And one of the big things that people were upset about was that the couple were keeping all the tips that were meant for their servers. And with that, the bad reviews just started pouring in. And the problem was that the couple didn't handle it very well. So here's one of their posts, and I won't say any of these bad words as we go through, but I wanted to post them on there so you can see how epically bad this is. So they started getting a bunch of bad reviews, and Amy takes to her Facebook page and posts, "Most of you are fat, disgusting losers. Probably not of the Redditors on this page even have a job or make over $40K a year. Most of your icons show you to be fat, overweight losers with nothing in your lives but disgusting people." Obviously, her grammar is not the greatest here, "My husband and I enjoy the finest champagne and caviar whenever we so choose. We are beautiful people and we have parties with people you can't even lick their boots. You're disgusting pig people made from the slime of your own hatred at the world for making you disgusting people. Stay in the basement where you belong. Redditors, you are losers." So obviously, Amy's not handling this very well. And the crazy part is it didn't end there. This wasn't the only post that she put out like this. Here's another one. "This is the final page I will make. I am sick and tired of you Reddits and Yelpers ruining everything. Stop, just stop. By coming to this page, you agree to a legally binding contract to not post derogatory comments and images." Obviously, that's not true. Your social media is public. She's got the caps lock on. She's kind of in a full-on meltdown here. Here's another one. To all the Yelpers and Reddits, bring it on. You are just wusses. Come to Arizona. You're weaker than my wife and weaker than me. Come to my business. Say it to my face. Anyway, they're obviously taking a very aggressive stance here on their Facebook page. And that's not what you want to be doing. So the posts were bad enough, right? They've had these meltdowns. They've been yelling at people on, they've got the full caps lock on Facebook. But the worst part was that then Amy and Sammy decided that they didn't want to take responsibility for what they said. And they posted this update after all of these other ones had gone down. Obviously, our Facebook, Yelp, Twitter, and website have been hacked. We are working with the local authorities as well as the FBI Computer Crimes Unit to assure this does not happen again. We did not post those horrible things. Thank you, Amy and Sammy. And clearly, that wasn't the case because these other posts had taken place over several days. And if they'd noticed that they'd been hacked, they would have shut down the page immediately, right? I don't even think the FBI would become involved in something like this. So they're clearly, posing that they've hacked and they're trying to fix this. So anyway, it's really bad that they've failed to take responsibility for their posts. The lesson is that a social media meltdown can really sink your business. So you really need to be careful. All right, so I want to talk about some do's and don'ts of responding to complaints on social media. Again, this is a big part of business and is somewhere you can get into a lot of trouble if you're not careful. So the first thing is don't let your emotions get the best of you. I don't know if any of you guys have had to watch the movie Frozen 8,000 times like we do in my family because my two daughters are obsessed with Anna and Elsa, but Elsa says in the song, "Let it go, conceal, don't feel, don't let them know." And obviously in real life, we don't want to do that. But when you're dealing with complaints on social media, you really don't want to let your emotions get the best of you. If you read a post and it makes you super angry, feel free to take a few minutes and, just calm down, walk away, and wait until you're in a better place to be able to respond. You don't want to let those emotions get in the way of what you're saying. And if you respond in anger or in pain or whatever, it's going to be really bad, and you're going to end up like Amy's Baking Company. Don't accuse the complainer of lying or making something up or whatever. We see this a lot on social media where someone will come in with a complaint, and instead of saying, "Gosh, I'm really sorry about that," the business will say, "Well, clearly that's not true." And sometimes you are going to have complainers who, may not be, they may be making a bigger deal of something, or maybe they are just making something up, or, they're not giving an accurate portrayal of what went down at the situation or whatever. But don't accuse them of lying. Feel free to tell your side of the story, but you don't want to just, accuse them of making something up. Don't feel the need to give your personal information for them. You don't need to give your name or your phone number or anything like that so that they can call you up and harass you. Feel free to, give them a more generic email address or phone number or whatever, but don't feel like you have to tell them your name or tell them exactly who they're dealing with or whatever like that, because you don't want them to come after you personally. Don't use bad language. That should be, a given, but it's really hard sometimes on social media, especially if someone is cursing you out. There can definitely be a temptation to fight right back. So, but remember, you don't want to sink to their level. You want to rise above it and be calm, and you don't want to use that bad language. You want to be professional. And lastly, don't dismiss the complaint as nothing to worry about. A lot of times we hear from businesses where they'll be getting comments about something and they'll say like, got, the same people will have the same complaint. And when that happens, you really need to look at it and go, hey, is this something my business needs to be working on? Maybe there's areas for improvement here. So don't dismiss that. People could really, they're going to complain if they have something to complain about. And so we need to use that as a learning opportunity. So here are some of the do's for when you're responding to complaints. You want to make sure you're listening. Again, they may have a valid complaint, and especially if you're getting it more than once, you really need to know that maybe something in your business needs to change. It's a great way to get feedback from these complaints. You do want to respond in a calm and professional manner. You always want to be the one who's calm. And the thing that's really going to be impressive that way is that as people read that post on your page where someone's gone off on a rant, and then they see that you've responded, and they see that you've responded in a calm and professional way, they're going to respect you for that. I was just on a site called TripAdvisor the other day, which is a travel website, and I was looking at this hotel that my husband and I are planning on going to stay at for our anniversary. And there were a couple of people on there who'd really ripped into the hotel for various different things. It's kind of an older hotel, and which some people might describe it as old world charm, and other people just, are mad about the thin walls or whatever, but I read through some of the 1-star reviews that people had given this supposedly nice hotel. And the thing that really impressed me was that the management of the hotel had responded to everyone, and they'd done it in a very calm, professional manner. And it really made me go like, oh, well, they care about these complaints, and they're listening. So that's what you want to do too. One thing you can do, you shouldn't ever be afraid to apologize, even if it's just to say, I'm so sorry you had a bad experience. You don't have to admit that you've done something wrong necessarily, but you can say that you're sorry that they, didn't have a great experience with your business, and say, we take stuff like that really seriously. We want you to have a great experience with our company. You can try to take the conversation offline through a private message. That's one of the best things that you can do is, ask them to send you a phone number or an email address where you can reach them and reach out and get a little bit more information. A lot of times when people complain online, they don't include all the details or anything, and you may need to get a little more info that way. If you're a restaurant or something and they just complain about their server, you probably need to find out some more info about who it was or who was working that night or whatnot. So, go ahead and ask them to provide you with a way to contact them outside of social media, and feel free to give them a generic contact for you. Either an email address that you don't mind sharing publicly, or your company's phone number or something like that, that they can reach you. And hopefully that's a really great way. Once people get that, they're excited that someone's going to be listening to them, and they're excited to talk to a real person. So a lot of times they're very willing to do that. Every now and then you will have someone who will share their contact information, not through a private message. They'll just post it on your Facebook page. And if they do that, please go ahead and take that down for them. They may not realize that it wasn't a great idea to share their cell phone number on a public Facebook page. So go ahead and write it down and then take that away. But the nice part about that is, you can respond professionally to their complaint, and then you can take the details and the longer resolution offline so that, people aren't seeing all the dirty laundry that they have to air. And then lastly, do what you can to remedy the situation. Obviously, that's not going to work in every situation, but just try and be calm, respond to what they've, address all their complaints, and just try and do the best they can. A lot of times you are going to end up with people who nothing is going to make them happy, but you can still you can still come off looking like the bigger man in that case, where, no matter what you've done, people who are looking at your review are going to see that, even though this person kept complaining and complaining, you did your best to remedy the situation. And just because that wasn't good enough for the customer doesn't mean it wouldn't be good enough for them. So that's really what we're going for in all of this, is that you want to look like you're calm, professional, put together, and that you've done what you could to try and help alleviate the situation for your customer. Now, there is a big question about, we hear all the time, well, I got a negative comment. Should I take that off my page? Or should I delete that somehow or whatever? And I would generally say no. What we encourage our clients to do is to leave that on their page because, one negative comment that you've responded to in a professional manner isn't going to hurt your reputation. It's going to be helpful for people to see that, you don't hide your complaints, that you're willing, that you're real and that it's not falsified in some way. And then they can look at those complaints and see that someone really responded and listened, and that's really going to help your reputation. So obviously, if you get someone who's trolling you or something and leaving a negative comment on every post you do or something, you can definitely report that to Facebook or whatnot. But if it's just a one-off complaint kind of thing, go ahead and leave it up there and show, the posts where you've helped to try and resolve it. And that's really going to show people that you're there listening to your customers. All right. So I want to talk about responding to positive comments. This is an area where, we really tend to focus on complaints and we kind of forget about these positive comments that come along. But these are such a fantastic way to increase engagement with your audience. So, it's a really big mistake not responding to a positive comment. And we're going to talk a little bit about why here. So here's a positive review that someone left on a Facebook page. He says, my girlfriend and I went here on a Friday night around 6:30 p.m. The servers were great right from the moment we stepped in. I ordered a mojito, one of the best I've had. My girlfriend ordered the house cocktail Orinoco. Perfect summer drink. I had the white wine pork and didn't know there were flavors like that. Blew me away. She had the chicken fajita, which was a bit too cheesy for her, but I finished that off. One of the best places I've eaten. I've been to some really great places, and I even left a 30% tip. And the nice part is that the business wrote back to him and said, hi, Matthew, thank you for taking the time to write such a wonderful review and for giving us not 5, but 6 stars. We're very happy to hear that you had such a wonderful time with us. Thank you once again, and we hope to see you again soon. And he says, we're back again this past weekend. We stayed for extra servings of your house cocktail. So clearly this guy had a really positive experience with this business, and they've improved upon that by responding to him. People love knowing that a business noticed them. So go ahead and respond to all the positive comments you get too. We see this a lot on Twitter. It's a really big thing where, someone will mention a business in Twitter, and if you write them back, they're going to love it. If they say, headed over just wherever, is their status update or whatever, and you say, hey, thanks for coming in. People love that. It could be something as simple as, someone posts something on your page like, hey, I really like your t-shirts. And you write back, oh, thanks. We use organic cotton or something like that. It doesn't have to be big. It can just be a quick little, thank you so much. We like you too, or whatever. You can like their comment. If it's a tweet, you can retweet it and say, thanks for stopping by, anything like that. Any way to acknowledge those people who've made a positive comment on your page. And the cool part is that that is going to make them so excited about your business, and they're going to tell people about it. They're going to, tweet their friends and say, hey, look, I got retweeted by this business. I'm so excited, or whatever. So it's a really, really great way to get in on the conversation and to just really build a positive relationship. Does anybody have any questions about responding to comments so far? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on here. So we're going to talk a little bit about inviting engagement. The easiest way to get people to engage on your page is just to ask for it. Include a call to action in some of your posts. So go ahead and, post an article or whatever, and then say, what do you think? Or, it can be something silly like, a post about eating bugs or something. You could say, would you do it? Or something along those lines. Just go ahead and ask that open-ended question. It will really open the conversation and let people feel like they want to, that you want to hear their feedback. And that's really a wonderful thing to do on social media. just to get that conversation going. Because I think that's something that we forget sometimes while we're doing social media marketing is, we forget that it's not just it's not like a billboard or a radio ad or something like that. Social media is really a conversation. And we don't want to just blast our stuff out there and not hear back from anyone. We really want to start that dialogue with our customers and try and get them talking about our products and talking with us and seeing how we can improve their experience. So feel free to ask for engagement that way. Go ahead and include a call to action of some sort. The other thing I was going to talk about is using your personal page to share content from your business page. Some of you have probably seen this a little bit before, but it's a really great way to increase your audience engagement. So the first thing you're going to do is click, there we go. Click on the 3 horizontal dots at the bottom of your cover image on your business page. And you're going to find the third item down that says share. Once you get to that, you're going to click on that, and then you can type a little personalized message and say something about like, hey, I thought this was really cool. What do you think? Or something along those lines. And then you can hit share page to send that post out in your personal newsfeed. And the cool part is it will then include a link to your business page, and all of your personal friends will be able to see it. Now, if you want to take that a step further, you can do that. And this is kind of cool. You can share specific posts with targeted people in your family and friends or whatever who are over on your personal page. So for example, I have an aunt who loves dogs. She gives a ton of money to like animal charities, and her Facebook page is just full of dog things, silly dog photos and things like that. So if I had something on my business page that mentioned dogs or had a cute dog photo, I could come over and share that to her page and get her to, notice that there was this post on my business page. I could just say something like, hey, Susie, saw this and thought of you, or something like that. And the cool part is that then Susie will see that, but all of her friends will see it too. They'll see that I've tagged her in a post. And then hopefully Susie will respond and say like, oh, I love that baby. What a cute doggy, or something along those lines, right? And it can work with any type of post. So if, be watching the content that's posted on your page. And if there's a post that reminds you of someone, go ahead and tag them. Let's see, I've got a question here. Is the share under the 3 dots different than the share to the left with the arrow? Nope, they're all the same. Facebook does have a couple of different places where you can find that share button. It's also on every single post that you'll see on Facebook. So it'll have the post up above, and then underneath it will have where you can comment or like. You can also hit share there too. And it will give you the option to either share it on your own timeline or onto someone else's timeline. So that's a really great way to increase engagement that way, even just amongst your family and friends. But the great part is that if you can get some of your family or a friend to comment on the post, then all of their network is going to see it, and it will just increase the reach of that post and hopefully bring in more audience engagement that way. All right. Well, that's all I have for today. We tried to keep it kind of short and sweet, but any questions about dealing with these complaints or with positive comments or anything like that? Anybody got anything they wanted to ask? Oh, here's one. Oh, thank you. Okay, we've got a comment. Very sweet. Thank you. One question did come in about, how often should you be monitoring your pages for these comments? I would say check it every day. Obviously you're hoping that you can respond within a few minutes, but a lot of companies don't have a full-time person who's just sitting there watching your social channels all day, right? So if you can go in every day, every other day, just so that you can respond in a timely manner to those folks. And then once you respond to them the first time, make sure you check back to see if they've added anything else. I have a question here that this appears to be for a regular business. Will you cover how to do this when we have a direct sale or MLM business? And the answer there, Kathleen, is it would be the same. So you can do all of these things on a direct sales or a multi-level marketing business page. You're going to want to do the same things where you're monitoring your page for complaints or anything like that. Some of those complaints, if you're a distributor for a larger company, you may need to forward on up your corporate ladder if you get something in that's more about the product versus your direct business. But feel free to say to the person who's complaining, gosh, I'm so sorry about that. Let me take that up the ladder here, and I'll get someone else to respond to you. I have to do that all the time here at Social 5 because I monitor our social channels, and I'll get a complaint from a customer about something that is maybe something that I don't deal with directly, since I'm more on the content side of things versus like our operations team. So like I'll get people who's write us on our Facebook page about their credit card billing or something. And I don't have anything to do with that. I don't touch money at all. So I'll write back to them and say like, oh, we'd be happy to help you with that. I'm not the person you need to talk to, but I'll get the person who manages your account to reach out to you. So, even if it's just to say, we're on it, we know that this is your complaint. I'm not the person who can help you with it, but someone is going to be reaching out to you. That will really help. Because that's really what it comes down to when people take to social media to complain, right? Is that they've had a frustrating experience and they just want to feel like someone has heard them. We have encountered this so many times over the course of, not with our business, but just with other companies that we've worked with, where, people will come in with these kind of crazy complaints sometimes, and they'll be freaking out about something. And once they get a response from the business, they are kind of like, oh, wow, someone listened to me, and they totally back down. I think a lot of times people go off and complain and do this whole rant thinking that there's no one there to hear them. And by showing them that there really is someone there listening, that really helps diffuse the situation and helps them calm down quite a bit. All right, any other questions? All right. Well, if you think of any, I've included our Social 5 contact information here. That reach out to us at content@social5.com. That's the email address you can always use to contact us. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions or think of anything else over the course of the day as you're going on. And I'll also be posting this session on our website, so you can watch it again if you'd like. And we've got a really great session coming up here at 11 o'clock Mountain Time that's going to be about contesting. We currently got a World Series contest going on, and it's really great to see how that can impact your page and help with that. So if you haven't had a chance to register for that, I'd highly encourage you to attend. It's going to be really good with Derek Jensen, our managing editor of contests and promotions. All right, everybody, thank you so much for coming, and we will see you soon.